Hey guys, welcome back to the G5 Family channel. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for clicking in. I hope you find this helpful, informative, and maybe even a little entertaining. But in today's topic, I'm going to be talking about what otherwise might seem sort of mundane. I'm just going to share my experience when it comes to phones, internet service, and cable TV here in the Philippines. Now, before I dive into anything, remember, everybody's experience is their own. You know, there's a lot of variance depending on where you live, whether it's a metro city or a province or a mountainside. You know, you're going to have different degrees of challenge. And I hope that gives you enough of an idea that you can launch into your own situation with some sense of what you might face. So a few days ago, I was on the phone with a friend of mine in the US who's preparing to move over here to the Philippines. And as we were talking through a bunch of different things, he asked me about my phone service. And then we got into internet, cable TV, and I sort of launched into what I'm about to share with you. And I thought, you know, I should do a talk on these items. So let's start with TV or cable TV. Now, these days with streaming services, Netflix and all the Hulus and the Zulus and all the likes, standard TV is becoming a bit outdated. But for guys like me, I'm not really into, binge watching, 12 episodes or something like that. I still like watching my favorite History Channel and Discovery Channel, those kind of shows. But here in the Philippines, we do have cable TV, although it is a little different than what we're used to in the US. On the plan that I'm on, we have about 50 or 60 channels, half being a mix of channels from within the Philippines and other Southeast Asian countries, as well as channels from Europe, UK, Australia, and then the other half is American programming. I get a kick out of American shows here having different names, like rather than American Pickers, it's called Pickers, it's called The Pickers. And it's obvious that the show did the promos as The Pickers, I guess for foreign markets. The other interesting thing is that opposed to having like the evening sitcoms, there are more channels offering movies. So believe it or not, we actually see more movies on TV than you might think. Now, in my case, the cool thing about the cable TV service is it's actually bundled into the internet plan, or the internet is included with the cable TV, depending on how you look at that. And for a surprisingly low cost. That makes a perfect segue to talking about internet. Now, when we first got here, I asked the phone carrier if we could get DSL. I just assumed that phone lines would have been run into our neighborhood. Wrong. Now, it's not a new neighborhood, but it's newer than some of the other areas around the city, and with mobile phones taking over standard wired phone service, I guess they just didn't think it was necessary to run phone lines. Then I remember asking my wife's family if the cable TV company had wired internet over coax, which is what I had in Nashville. And they either didn't quite understand what I was asking or just didn't know, so I sort of came to the conclusion that wired-based internet service just wasn't going to be available, at least to our house. So with that, I made the ultimate of errors and I subscribed to the local premium LTE 4G wireless internet service. They came out, they installed an antenna on the roof to catch the 4G signal, and then they installed a router, and just like that, we have internet that rarely worked. Repeated calls to their support hotline, repeated visits by technicians, me showing them my signal meter that tells the 4G signal strength, as well as my Wi-Fi meter showing the lack of internet signal coming from the router. And by the way, I do have a little bit of expertise. I worked with Verizon Wireless for a few years before moving to the Philippines. Yeah, so that was a nightmare for the first couple of months until one day I was out and about and noticed the storefront of the local cable TV shop and decided, hey, I'm gonna pop in there and check out getting cable TV to the house. So I'm sitting there talking to the lady, and I happen to notice a little flyer on the wall showing their internet service. Their plans offered a 2 megabyte per second and a 4 megabyte per second plan. And then cable TV is just included for free. Well, so it turns out they do have internet over coax. So long story short or long, I had to pay them to run coax into the neighborhood to my house, and then boom, just like that, suddenly we have both reliable internet and cable TV. Of course, I subscribed to the best plan they offered at a whopping $32.50, And to be honest, I was a little shocked at how well it performed. I mean, somehow we had Netflix. I think we got some sort of promo deal on the first 4G setup. And we couldn't use it because we didn't have decent enough internet. But on this 4 megabyte per second plan, we could now watch Netflix on our smart TV. So then fast forward 4.5 years to today, and currently I have a 50 megabyte per second plan, and my monthly bill is still only $40 a month. We do have fiber. It just kind of came in the last year or so, and their biggest plan is a 100 megabyte per second plan. But I haven't needed to upgrade because, like the coax, I will still have to pay to get it run into the neighborhood and to the house. And then the cost actually jumps up to like $50 a month. For now, the 50 megabyte per second plan works great. We don't really have a need to upgrade. So that's our internet and cable TV setup, and it's great. We don't necessarily sit around couch surfing watching TV all the time, but we have it when we want it. All right, so let's talk about phones. Now, I think you'll get a kick out of this as well. I mean, I know I did. When we first got here, of course, we brought our mobile phones from the US. They were Verizon phones, by the way, but needed to get, local SIM cards. So we went to the mall and they led me to this store. It was a non-carrier, third-party outfit. And we bought prepaid SIMs for our phones. And I figured this was just a temporary thing. I mean, that later, once we got settled in, we would do our research and go to the best mobile wireless store and set ourselves up with phone service. And as a side note, I did do that later. But I found out that our prepaid setup was far more versatile, no contractual commitments, and we can do 30-day plans. So our experience is proper service. I mean, it works. All right, so to put that into perspective, I pay roughly $11 per month per phone. And that's unlimited voice and text and data. $11 a month. Can you imagine? And coming from the US, paying upwards of $200 per month for a family plan, I mean, I can tell you that my experience here for $22 a month for 2 phones is every bit the same as I was getting from Verizon Wireless for $200 a month. If I need to call or text or do a video call or watch a YouTube video, I just do it. And it's reliable. If our internet service at home blips out for some reason, we still have mobile data. So yeah, it's worked out really well. In addition to our mobile phones, I also carry a US phone line, and I set this up prior to coming to the Philippines. I wanted to keep my Verizon number that I've had for 25 years. I wanted all of my friends and family to be able to contact me, as they're used to. Simply said, I'm a longtime subscriber to Vonage. Vonage is one of the first, if not the very first, full service voice over IP phone service. And they do a great job of providing phone and voicemail and all the bells and whistles that you're used to at a reasonable cost. Before leaving the US, I ported my Verizon Wireless phone number to Vonage, and once we finally had good internet here, I plugged my Vonage box into my internet router, and boom, just like that, I have a US-based phone line. Unlimited calling, everything for about $30 a month. So in total, for 2 mobile phones, my US phone line, I pay about $52 a month, and I cannot tell any difference in my user experience from the US. So to summarize, for internet service, cable TV, mobile phones, a landline with a US phone number, I pay a whopping $92 a month. If I add in my Netflix subscription, that's an additional $11 a month, taking the total to $103 a month. So for communications and entertainment, we are all set, $100 a month. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Again, as always, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Please hit that like button, really helps. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.